She stood at the edge of the ranch, clutching a torn bag, her voice barely a whisper as she asked, "Where will I sleep?" The rancher looked at her for a long moment, then gave an answer so unexpected. It didn't just change her night. It changed her entire life forever. But what he said next is something no one in that town ever forgot. The wind howled across the dry plains as dusk settled over the quiet ranch. Dust swirled around worn wooden fences, and the sky burned orange before fading into darkness. A young woman named Eliza stood at the gate. Her dress was faded, her shoes nearly falling apart, and her eyes carried the weight of someone who had lost everything. Just a week ago, she had a home, a family, a place where she belonged. But tragedy doesn't knock, it crashes in. Her father had died suddenly, leaving behind debts she never knew existed. Within days, strangers came, took everything, and threw her out like she was nothing. No money. No relatives. No place to go. For days she walked, hungry, tired, and scared. Until she reached that ranch. The biggest one for miles. Owned by a man people whispered about. A quiet, rugged rancher named Thomas Hale. They said he didn't talk much. Didn't trust people. Didn't help anyone. But Eliza had no choice. Her hands trembled as she pushed the gate open. The sound echoed. Moments later, heavy footsteps approached. Thomas appeared, tall, broad-shouldered, his face unreadable. His eyes scanned her quickly, noticing everything, the fear, the exhaustion, the desperation. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice calm but distant. Eliza swallowed hard, her throat dry. I need work," she said softly. "Anything. I can clean, cook. I just need a place to stay." Thomas didn't respond immediately. The silence stretched. The wind blew harder. Then finally, Eliza whispered the question that broke something unseen in the air. "Where would I sleep?" Thomas looked at her. Really looked at her this time. Not just as a stranger, but as someone standing at the edge of survival. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. Thomas turned away without a word. For a second, Eliza thought she had made a mistake. Maybe he was going to send her away like everyone else. Maybe this was the end. But then, "Come with me," he said. She hesitated, then followed. They walked past the barn, past the workers' quarters, until they reached the main house. It was large, quiet, and strangely empty. Thomas opened the door. "You'll stay here." Eliza froze. She blinked, unsure she heard him right. "Here?" she asked. He nodded. "You'll take the east room. It's been empty for years." Her voice shook. "But what about you?" Thomas paused, then said something no one expected. "I've spent years living in a house that felt empty, even when it wasn't." He looked at her, his expression softening just slightly. "You don't need a place to sleep." He took a breath. "You need a place to belong." Those words hit her harder than anything else. Not pity. Not charity. Belonging. For the first time in days, Eliza felt her chest tighten with something other than fear. Hope. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Eliza worked hard, cooking, cleaning, helping on the ranch. But more than that, she brought something back into that silent house. Laughter. Warmth. Life. And slowly, Thomas changed too. The man who barely spoke began to listen. The man who avoided people began to care. One evening, as the sun set just like the day she arrived, Eliza stood outside, looking across the land. Thomas walked up beside her. "You ever think about leaving?" he asked. She smiled softly. "I already did once," she said. Then she looked at him. "And I found everything I needed when I stopped running." Thomas nodded quietly. Because deep down, he knew the truth. That night she asked where she would sleep. He didn't just give her a room. He gave her a life. And somehow, she gave him one too, Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes someone's entire turning point. A door opened at the right moment. A few words spoken with heart can save a life. And maybe even your own. If today's story touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, even a small act of kindness can change someone's entire life. Red Heart.